What starts as a peaceful night in this quaint town shatters in an instant. A girl in flowing blue robes races frantically through dimly lit corridors, her voice desperate as she calls out for help. But nothing could prepare her for what she finds. A boy with messy orange hair, clutching his side in agony. Blood seeps through his fingers as he whispers the only word that might save him. Healer. His tear-filled eyes tell a story of pain beyond imagination. Hours earlier, salvation seemed within reach. Luce Taker, battered and bleeding in his torn white clothes, stumbled upon a village path lined with lush greenery. Relief flooded his voice. He was saved, but the dark-maned wolves he'd barely escaped haunted his thoughts. Their glowing red eyes and pack mentality made them the stuff of nightmares. He knew he'd been lucky to survive their coordinated assault. This time, the young warrior with reddish-brown hair reflects grimly on his recent battle. 30 monsters, not just one or two. Survival came at a cost, and now his body screams for healing. At the Adventurers Guild, a professional blonde woman in light blue hands him a loan receipt with practiced efficiency. The drawn amount will be deducted from his next job, she explains. Hope mingles with desperation as he clutches the paperwork. Time is running out. The orange-haired boy staggers through hospital corridors, his condition worsening by the minute. A concerned nurse and dark-haired man urge immediate treatment. His injuries look serious. Dizziness clouds his vision as he fears he'll never make it to the church in time. Then, like a shadow materialized, a mysterious figure in a white coat appears. "Excuse me," the stranger says, and everything changes. The blue-haired man in the white coat delivers his pitch with a confident smirk. If healing is what you need, look no further. He offers treatment for cheap, payment after service. But the orange-haired boy's instincts scream danger. This stranger looks suspicious. He demands to see a healer's badge first. In the shadows, another observer notes how desperation attracts fake healers like moths to flame. A legitimate blonde healer in white robes explains the importance of the official badge. Only those who don't know anything show them readily. The dark-haired man smirks sarcastically, claiming he told them he couldn't use healing spells, so no badge was given. The red-haired character's frustration boils over. Someone claiming to be a healer without knowing healing spells? He walks away in disgust, calling the stranger even worse than useless. The injured young man limps down the dark street, inspecting his fresh shoulder wound. The mysterious healer shocks him by correctly identifying the source, a black-maned wolf attack. How could he know just from looking? The healer boasts about making a living fixing up injured adventurers. His price seems too good to be true. 150,000 gold compared to a priest's 600,000. The young man's suspicions grow. Is this confidence or con artistry? Tension explodes as the white-coated figure urges the injured boy to get a life, to take better care of himself. "If it hurts when you sleep, come see me," he says, pointing toward an inn. The orange-haired boy prepares to leave, but fate has other plans. They're staying at the same inn. In the background, a church glows with mystical light, promising divine healing. But at what cost? In the sacred healing chamber, golden light bathes the scene. The blonde priest in ceremonial white robes announces the divine intervention of Lord Eiber. The wound is healed for 620,000 gold. The brown-haired patient clasps his hands in grateful supplication, acknowledging that priests are worth their hefty cost. Yet something feels wrong. A slight ache remains where the healing touched. As night falls, a cloaked figure strides away with purpose. The blond man's screams pierce the night air as agony tears through his leg. The supposed healing has backfired spectacularly. His leg glows with an ominous red light. What is this cursed affliction? He hired an expensive priest, spent a fortune on divine intervention, and yet he calls desperately for another healer as panic consumes him. The expensive treatment was worse than worthless. The injured young man recalls the mysterious healer's cryptic words. "You won't be able to fix that with a healing skill," he'd said. "If it hurts when you sleep, come see me." Frustration builds as he realizes the healer never even gave his name. In a dimly lit room, A woman in a simple blue dress enters, surprised to find the black and white-clad healer already there. "Right on time," he says with calm confidence. Julia steps back as the white-coated healer takes control of the situation. The orange-haired boy sits in visible discomfort, questioning whether his expensive treatment was worth anything. The healer's eyes gleam with amusement. Can't he see the obvious? Despite his pain, the boy presses desperately for confirmation. "You're a healer, though, right?" The man's slight smile suggests confidence, or perhaps something more sinister. The price has tripled. 300,000 gold makes the orange-haired boy's jaw drop in shock. The wound is 3 times worse than before, the healer explains matter-of-factly. Desperation drives the boy to offer his sword as payment. Surely it's worth something? The healer examines the blade with interest. At least 200,000 gold, he estimates. In this dimly lit chamber, a deal is struck between the desperate and the calculating. A moment of relief, treatment for 200,000, just this once. But when the sword mysteriously disappears from the healer's hand, questions multiply. The blonde boy's gratitude mixes with terror as he asks the ultimate question, "Will this kill me?" The healer's reassurance rings hollow. If it were deadly, he claims, he would have knocked him out first. Then he presses the infected area, and the boy's scream shatters the silence. Realization dawns like a cold blade. "Poison," the injured young man whispers in horror. A flashback reveals the truth. Black lingonberry tree branches, poisonous to the touch. Even the slightest brush can paralyze permanently. Fear grips his heart as he contemplates never walking again. But the white-coated figure gestures with magical purple swirls emanating from his hand, suggesting hope still exists in this moment of despair. The purple bottle emerges like salvation in liquid form. The orange-haired boy raises his hands defensively as the healer explains the black lingonberry antidote must be applied directly to the wound. Trembling, the patient asks about its purpose while the healer maintains his composed demeanor. With dark humor, he notes his preference not to touch patients, then sarcastically compliments whoever did such a fine job with the previous healing. Surgery is the only option. The orange-haired young man kneels in terror as the grinning healer explains his grim reality. No suitable painkiller available, so he's free to scream. The patient's protests fall on deaf ears. He's not ready for this. But the healer can't use painkillers, he simply can't. The blade descends with a swift motion, and blood explodes across the chamber as the young man's scream becomes a gurgled cry of agony. Another purple potion materializes in the healer's grip. "One more bottle coming up," he announces with clinical detachment. "Either tough it out or faint." But as mystical light flashes through the scene, something awakens within the injured boy. Memories surface. 5 years ago, waking to a new existence. "Healer?" "From Azul," someone had said. "You could just live as a quack." The revelation hits like lightning. This was a world, not Earth. The terrifying reality crashes over him in waves. A world with monsters and magic. The status window had flashed before his eyes. Your class is healer. But this wasn't Earth. This was something far more dangerous. The background erupts with chaotic energy as dark shadows and electric discharges illuminate the space around him. Despite the fear, there's a spark of hope. In this unfamiliar world, perhaps being a healer means something different. He wasn't alone in this nightmare. The light brown-haired man in the white shirt voices what they're all thinking. They need to find a way home. He has a family waiting. The dark-haired woman in red remarks how their situation feels like a fantasy novel, especially the translucent screen showing class assignments. But why is there a question mark at the end? In this dimly lit cave, uncertainty haunts their every breath. Sungin Kong stares at his holographic interface in disbelief. The blue-haired man in the white coat scrolls through his available skills. Insidious. Communication of 890, none of them what he needs. His class clearly states healer, but where the healing skills? Confusion clouds his features as sunlight streams through nearby windows and birds chirp peacefully outside. How could someone be classified as a healer without any actual healing abilities. The healing session concludes with remarkable success. There, all finished, Sungin announces as the orange-haired patient lies on the blood-stained bed. Gratitude pours from the young man. He would have died without this intervention. But his amazement grows as he realizes no magical skills were used. How is such healing possible? Sungin responds with quiet confidence, explaining he's grown used to the distrust that comes with being a healer without traditional skills. In the Bitsfall restaurant, the young man reflects on Sungin's understanding nature. How refreshing to meet someone so compassionate. But his admiration wavers as Sungin reveals a darker motivation. He enjoys watching those who initially dismiss him later come begging for help. The patient takes back his praise with nervous laughter. Meanwhile, Julia works diligently in the kitchen, preparing an meal combo as the sound of clattering dishes fills the air. Writing has become his lifeline in this hostile realm. Sungin documents his experiences on the continent of Azul, a nightmare world swarming with monsters and contaminated zones. The landscape around him pulses with malevolent energy, twisted flora casting eerie red glows across the terrain. In the distance, a monstrous centipede-like creature rears its horrific head. A piercing cry echoes across the wasteland, reminding him that every day here is a fight for survival. A small accident in the kitchen draws Sungin's immediate attention. Julia winces as she nurses a cut on her finger, softly exclaiming ouch while he asks if she's okay. Her dramatic reaction, "Oh my goodness," is accompanied by a whoosh of movement as she turns toward him. Though she insists it's nothing, Sungin's concern overrides her protests. He doesn't want to argue, but his protective instincts won't let him ignore even minor injuries. Sungin's observational eye skill activates, scanning Julia for injuries. The holographic interface reports minor bleeding from a knife cut on her left index finger. It's not large, but you can't prepare food with a bleeding hand. Julia, wearing her light blouse with orange collar, looks anxious but grateful as Sungin performs his healing technique. Golden light emanates from his hands as he uses stanch, and soon the wound is sealed. The status window updates, his points have increased. Back in the Bitsfall restaurant, Sungin eyes his accumulated points with anticipation. Time for some tactical gambling. 5 consecutive roulette spins should yield something useful. The wheel spins with a satisfying whir as results flash across the screen. But luck abandons him spectacularly. His face contorts in frustration as another poor result appears. "At least have the decency not to roll the gold," he exclaims, his tactical approach crumbling into comedic disappointment. Suddenly, fortune smiles upon him. Bingo! The roulette grants him a new skill called Spray, converting absorbed potions into energy with a 30% effectiveness boost. Not bad at all. With his meal finished, Sungin decides to test his new ability. He holds up a small health potion, then activates Absorb. The potion shatters in his grip with a crystalline sound as its essence flows into his arm. Now for the real test. Spray. The spray technique works beautifully, far more professional than simply pouring potions on wounds. But his test subject, a man with a bandaged arm, doesn't appreciate the surprise treatment. "You jerk! Who the heck are you?" the victim shouts after being sprayed without warning. Sungin apologizes, explaining that the man's health has been restored. "They're even now, right?" The casual observer in the flat cap watches this bizarre exchange with bemused calm. The man's anger transforms into wonder as he realizes Sungin possesses actual healing skills. "Just a country bumpkin," he admits with embarrassed laughter. He's never seen such an ability before. Sungin calmly explains it's exclusive to Dimension travelers, which makes perfect sense to the now excited local. Fate has brought them together, the man declares enthusiastically. He has an adventure party with 4 members already in place. Would Sungin consider joining them? In a shadowy alley, the white-haired man with piercing red eyes reveals their target, rare monster hunting. His gestures are confident as he explains the job details. The reward? An impressive 1.2 million gold. Not bad. The serious-looking man in dark clothes responds with measured approval. The white-coated figure contemplates the opportunity. Maybe he'll give it a go. Behind them, the Adventurers Guild sign promises legitimate work, but the glowing red eyes in the darkness suggest this job might be more dangerous than it seems. Inside the bustling Adventurers Guild, recruitment continues. The muscular man with short brown hair asks to see the hooded healer's abilities first, a reasonable request. Golden light erupts from the mysterious figure's outstretched hand as they confidently declare their capability as the party's healer. More than capable, they insist. But outside, a significant sound echoes, doo-dooing, drawing Rick's alarmed attention toward its source. Something important is happening, and timing couldn't be more critical. Confusion ripples through the group as Sungin questions the party size. He thought there would be 4 members, including him. The brown-haired man in the hoodie looks stressed, pressing his hand to his forehead with an audible UGH. They discuss the lucrative 1.2 million gold reward while confirming they've recruited healers. But something feels off about this arrangement. The hooded character appears apprehensive, while another observes carefully, calculating hidden motives behind seemingly straightforward job offers. Fariel, the brown-haired man in armor, tries to make the best of their situation. Sungin smiles, expressing gratitude for having 2 healers watching his back. But tension simmers beneath the surface. A cloaked figure glares intensely at them, while rustling sounds emerge from nearby foliage. "Oomph, that jerk," someone thinks bitterly. "I will never forget the humiliation you put me through." As they transition from urban streets to forest paths, old grudges threaten to surface. Magic crackles through the air as the white-haired man demonstrates his abilities with a confident flick of his wrist. Golden light swirls around him as he shows off his skills. The black-haired observer reacts with excitement and disbelief. "Whoa, what is that?" But the cloaked figure scoffs dismissively, unimpressed by the display. When asked about their target, the answer comes with casual confidence. It's just a sewer rat, a common threat lurking in the city's depths, but apparently worth a fortune. The muscular man in the vest laughs heartily at the revelation. Who would have thought a rare monster could be found among common sewer rats? 1.2 million gold for just one rat. This should be easy money. But Sungin raises a sobering question. Has anyone actually hunted a rare monster before? The honest answers come back negative. Neither have they admit. Without proper experience, he suggests returning to the village to restock healing potions before facing unknown dangers. Near the forest's edge, Sungin sighs in frustration as his practical concerns are dismissed. The brown-haired warrior waves casually. They're just going back for a sewer rat, after all. The hooded character mocks him sarcastically. Is it because he didn't bring enough potions? That's on him. You can always back out now if you're scared, they taunt. The reward of 300,000 gold per person hangs in the air as Sungin weighs his options. This is as far as caution will take him. Rick questions the mysterious addition to their group as the cloaked figure responds pensively. Meanwhile, Sungin waves goodbye cheerfully, exclaiming "Take care," as he witnesses a figure running away in obvious panic. He's running away because of a sewer rat, he observes with dark amusement. Someone declares they'll take the reward for themselves while a dark-haired man sits against a tree, sword in hand. "Found it," he announces. Then a shadow bursts onto the scene. The rat worth 1.2 million gold appears. In a lush forest, the young man in the green hooded cloak volunteers to handle the healing duties. The white-haired man with red eyes agrees as they prepare for action. A muscular figure with golden eyes leaps forward with lightning speed, generating a powerful swoosh through the air. He crashes into his target with tremendous force, sending water splashing everywhere. But as the dust settles and chaos erupts around them, a troubling question emerges. Where did it go? A thunderous boom shakes the battlefield as the purple-haired woman in the dark cloak raises her hands in alarm. Dark energy swirls ominously while creatures emit piercing squeaks. She feels her mana draining at an alarming rate. Something about this aura is wrong. The brown-haired boy asks if the muscular man is okay, receiving confirmation to hurry. A spellcaster in green robes casts an attack buff, accompanied by a brilliant flash. But rumbling beneath their feet suggests an earthquake, or something worse. Chaos consumes the battlefield as Sungyun's voice joins the cacophony of destruction. "AHH!" he cries out, overwhelmed by the monstrous presence bearing down on them. Squeaking and rumbling sounds create an atmosphere of pure dread. The hooded figure shouts in disbelief, "No way," as they witness their companions being systematically overpowered. Sungyun's frustration explodes toward Henry as the situation spirals beyond anyone's control. This was supposed to be a simple rat hunt. Jera dashes away in complete terror, screaming as he narrowly escapes the swirling portal of dark energy. The hooded character calls him shameless for abandoning them, lamenting his own depleted mana reserves. But Jera shouts back with gallows humor, "Sorry, I'll protect you in the next life." Rick, his face twisted in panic and dripping with sweat, realizes the horrifying truth. They're trapped in this nightmare. An escape seems impossible. "We're doomed," echoes across the battlefield. In a mystical forest environment, a crucial revelation begins to unfold. Green energy illuminates the scene as a young man with light brown hair and a confident character with dark hair exchange significant glances. The puzzled character with messy brown hair looks on in confusion as ethereal forces swirl around them. Something profound is about to be revealed, something that will change everything they thought they knew about this encounter. Sungyun channels magical energy through his hands as regret fills his voice. "I should have asked for 500,000 gold per person," he mutters, realizing he underestimated this job's true difficulty. Who would put such a massive bounty on a single rat? A panicked creature dashes away with terrified squeaks while Mart Bello, staggered and breathless in his oversized cloak, calls out in distress. Dark energy swirls ominously around them as Sungyun grimly warns, "They're going to attack again." Mart Bello clutches his head in despair, admitting he can cast Shield of Light, but has exhausted both his mana and potions. He doesn't look good at all, Sungyun observes with clinical detachment. But there's hope. If they can recharge his mana, the shield becomes possible. Sungyun activates Absorb with a glowing blue hand movement, drawing energy from a mana potion. In the swirling magical atmosphere, a blue-haired figure appears, surrounded by mystical energy and expressing complete confusion. Jera's eyes widen in shock as he realizes the implications. A skill that restores mana? Sweat beads on his anxious brow as the hooded figure warns him not to get cocky. But Sungyun manipulates glowing blue energy with practiced confidence, demonstrating power beyond mortal limitations. Jera stammers in terror, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what he's witnessing. "Only the great gods possess such abilities," someone explains. In his desperation, Jera asks the ultimate question, "Which one are you?" The dark-suited character bows deeply, apologizing for his disrespect to what he believes is a divine being. "Your humble creation apologizes," he declares, swearing under Lord Eiber's name to never disclose what he's witnessed. Sungyun fidgets nervously. This misunderstanding has spiraled completely out of control. Purple mist swirls ominously as shadowy figures with glowing red eyes emerge, sniffing the air with predatory intent. The hooded character screams, "Get lost," as he dashes away in panic, adding chaos to an already surreal situation. Sungyun calls upon Eiber the Merciful, his hands glowing with golden divine light. "Lend me your holy power," he chants as energy builds around him. Shield of God erupts with a resounding FWOM as the protective barrier manifests. Sungyun shouts with exhilaration. He did it. The dark-haired observer watches with impressed admiration, acknowledging Sungyun's true capability. With playful authority, Sungyun dismisses his divine patron. "You're on your own now. Don't bother me." Then a dark creature strikes with a forceful crack. The truth behind the million gold bounty emerges from the shadows. Dark energy swirls around Mart Bello as an ominous voice declares pride. They've fallen into a carefully constructed trap. When adventurers see the sudden monster increase and try to flee, the rare creature activates area control, trapping them in a mini-dungeon. Sungin reveals his secret weapon, a bottle of glowing green liquid. Din Troll mint concentrate, an insecticide from another dimension. Time for chemical warfare. Jera dashes forward with renewed determination, his messy brown hair flowing as he admits his limitations. One bottle isn't enough to drive away hundreds of rats, but it's a different story with SBRAY. A confident smile spreads across his face as he prepares to unleash his new ability. Green and purple energy charges the air around him as a menacing rat with glowing red eyes appears in his path. And while its guard is down, the perfect moment to strike approaches. Strike first, questions later. The cloaked figure lunges with predatory grace, green energy crackling from their fingertips. But they're not alone in this deadly dance. Lab coat trembling, nerves fraying. Someone else realizes the trap is closing. Crack. The sound of breaking echoes through chaos. Then the rats begin to move. Sungin grits his teeth as purple energy swirls around him like a living nightmare. The monster's using pride again, that devastating ability that turns hope into despair. His golden hands still glow with Eiber's power, but for how long? Meanwhile, the blond boy stands frozen, torn between helping and obeying orders. Then Sungin notices something that chills his blood. The rats, they're moving differently now. Mart Bello throws back his regeneration potion like liquid salvation. 1 HP restored, but time is running out before the effect fades. The dark creature strikes with crushing force, jaws snapping down on flesh. Mart Bello grunts in pain, but doesn't yield. He fights back with desperate fury, landing a blow that sends the beast reeling. Every second counts now. Pain shoots through Jera's ankle as monster fangs find their mark. The regeneration potion's protection nullified in an instant. This creature knows exactly when to strike, when to draw blood. Jera activates Stanch, trying to stem the bleeding, but the debuff doubles everything. Damage taken, mana consumed. His resources dwindle by the second. But what a shame. The cloaked figure's red eyes gleam with predatory amusement. They move with supernatural confidence, each step calculated. No mana required. Such is their power. The air trembles with each impact, boom after earth-shaking boom. Then comes the incision, sharp and precise as a surgeon's blade. The sound that follows, Grak, promises something far worse. Sungin staggers back, blood dripping from his battered form. The purple chaos swirls around him like a living storm. A beast slashes through the air where he stood moments before. Boom! Another explosion rocks the battlefield. Yet through the pain, through the chaos, he checks his body. His limbs respond. His ankle holds. He's still in this fight. Mart Bello sighs with relief, blood still staining his white coat. The scratch on his cheek tells a story of how close death came. Ding! A notification chimes. Achievement unlocked for defeating a rare monster solo. His ally cheers from the sidelines, though admits the healer nearly ruined everything. Even the reward comes as a roulette. What fortune awaits? Ding! New skill acquired. Jera examines his bloodied form as the notification glows before him. Throw, with a black star marking its rarity. 100% accuracy, damage, and a crucial effect boost. His mind races. A poison dart with 1% instant kill chance, combined with 25% effect boost. The mathematics of death suddenly look very promising. The brown-haired boy grins through his injuries, grateful for survival and sworn to secrecy. Time to wake the others from their enchanted slumber. Characters stir groggily, confused about what transpired. But there's something unsettling in that dark-haired figure's casual demeanor. Did the entity die peacefully in its sleep? The question hangs heavy with ominous implications. Single-handedly, the young adventurer can barely believe what he's hearing. 300,000 gold per piece.
Mart Bellow's payment demand echoes through the forest clearing where the monster's bloodied remains tell their own story. But there's one more matter to settle. Something valuable lies among the carnage, and Mart Bellow reaches for it with purpose. The spoils of victory.
The bag of coins clinks with the sound of survival. These three adventurers from the same village came seeking fortune, but nearly found their graves instead. Mart Bellow, despite his scratch and bloodied coat, wears the smile of victory. They offer drinks, grateful for their lives. But tomorrow they return home. The adventuring life has lost its appeal. The dark-haired man contemplates the double-edged nature of adventure. Fortune overnight, death just as quickly. The blond boy bids cheerful farewell to his companions, promising future drinks. But when Mart Bellow is invited to join, something shifts in the air. The suggestion to pretend they're strangers after this. Why does that feel like more than casual conversation? Mart Bellow mutters about training, about witnessing the Great One's true coming. Has a cult been born from this encounter? The purple gemstone gleams in his palm as they make their way to the relic appraiser. The shopkeeper greets them with enthusiasm, his cluttered store filled with mystical items. Here, sealed monster drops await their true potential. The purple orb rolls across the appraiser's table, catching light like captured starfire. The young woman watches intently as the man prepares his assessment. Is it better than she thought? The appraisal begins with practiced precision. A bright flash illuminates the room. The verdict arrives: C-class relic, a talisman imbued with small life. But is that the whole truth? C-class? The serious man seems skeptical of the assessment. The woman confidently declares its worth. 80,000 gold, but she'll pay 120,000. Then she produces the Latasia potion, its glow revealing blood contact. The knife that slayed the rare monster still carries traces of violence. But why is she so eager to overpay? The dark-haired man examines the marble with calculating eyes. If it came from a monster today, it should glow brighter than a knife, unless someone switched it. His hand moves with lightning speed. Grab. The confrontation explodes into action as he swings a glimmering blade. The accusation hangs in the air like a death sentence. Splash! The silvery-haired appraiser panics as liquid chaos erupts around him. He screams about the mistake, about being inside the Adventurers Guild, about sending signals for help. But the black-haired figure considers his words carefully, then agrees. Oh, you're right. Slam! The appraiser hits the ground. Sometimes the simplest solution is the most effective. Sung Kong introduces himself as a healer, his glowing hand working over the distressed man who weeps in terror. The stanch ability activates with a powerful wham. The bleeding stops, but something feels wrong. The man's desperate pleas for help echo in the dim appraisal room. What kind of healer needs to use such forceful methods? Purple energy emanates from a figure hunched over skulls, mystical ring in hand. The suited man questions the lack of holy power he felt. The nervous appraiser confirms the shocking truth. This is a B-class relic, a focus ring worth 6.4 million gold. And someone tried to buy it for a mere 120,000? The implications are staggering. Violence seems inevitable. The focus ring's true value becomes clear, a 50% increase in mentality, crucial for any sorcerer's concentration. The dark-haired man declares it quite defined, his excitement palpable. He requests the unsealing and adds a talisman to his purchase. The laboratory buzzes with energy while the background bar creates a lively contrast. Knowledge truly is power. The elderly innkeeper apologizes. No empty tables available. The tall man in white considers his options when suddenly a voice calls out in surprise. Hovan Kim. The cheerful character with glasses bursts into the scene with explosive recognition. Dudai. Sometimes the most unexpected reunions happen in the most ordinary places. What brings these two together again? Hojang Kim practically vibrates with excitement about his recent windfall. 2 million gold. Mr. Kang's interest sparks as the young man generously offers to pay for anything. The tavern atmosphere buzzes with laughter and beer requests. But when Mr. Kong suggests something priced at 1.9 million, the generous offer suddenly doesn't seem quite so generous. Reality has a way of humbling generosity. Laughter fills the tavern as they settle on more reasonable fare. The beautiful pot of golden stamina potion graces their table, distinct from HP, as the lab-coated character explains. The serious man admits his disbelief at being outdone, even mentioning the coveted ring. Sometimes luck favors the bold, and today belongs to his companion. The mead flows as freely as their banter. Sungin Kong reflects on his mana struggles, admitting he was the only one born without it in this world. The focus ring became essential. Without it, his skills remain useless. Hojong Kim listens sympathetically, their shared dimension traveler experience creating understanding. They raise their glasses and toast to everyone in Azul with lesser abilities. Solidarity in struggle, celebration in survival. The excitement over expensive drinks gives way to serious conversation. Sungin leans forward with something important to discuss. The technical notification appears, disabling communication of God. Whatever he's about to share, it requires absolute secrecy. The bustling pub atmosphere contrasts with the gravity building between them. Some revelations demand the utmost discretion. A black star skill, something Sungin has never encountered before. Hojong's excitement is infectious as he describes his new throw ability, far superior to normal skills. The mention of a party member with similar starred abilities sparks recognition. Jaehyung, Vaehyung, Kim. The name doesn't matter as much as the implications. Rare skills for rare circumstances. The dimensional traveler's power was overwhelming, single-handedly wiping out enemies with enhanced starred skills. Blue energy crackles through Hojong's animated retelling. But it's what happened on the last day that matters most. Something the traveler shouted. Something about 4 skills. The revelation hangs between them like a bridge to impossible possibilities.
Maybe this is the way back. The words hit like lightning. Sungin's surprise is genuine. Could 4-starred skills truly be the key to returning home? The evening air outside the cozy and carries new hope. Promises of future meetings and celebrations echo in the starlight. For million gold, 2 pitchers of mead. But first, they need to test this theory. Cheerful farewells mask deeper contemplation. As Hojong waves goodbye, Sungin's mind races with possibilities. If 4 skills truly change everything, if Jaehyung's method works. The cosmic imagery swirls around his thoughts like distant stars, calling him home. First, tomorrow brings good deeds and point gathering. But the path forward has never seemed clearer. Hain Village Market buzzes with morning energy as Sungin sets up his healing stall. His sign promises the cheapest prices in town, cash not required. With a wide grin and confident gestures, he welcomes potential customers. The villagers murmur among themselves, curious about this enthusiastic healer. Time to earn those precious points through honest work. A cloaked figure approaches, surprised to confirm Sungin's profession. But the red-haired woman's accusations cut deep, calling him a quack without proper healing skills or badge. The marketplace gossip spreads quickly. Still, Sungin maintains his composure. These skeptics don't know about his real clients, the ones who truly need help, not just official recognition. The woman with the wavy ponytail offers potatoes as payment, her bandaged arm telling a story of hard farm work. Sungin's expression shifts to genuine concern as she reveals her injury. His mind flashes to darker possibilities, tetanus, infection, the terrifying realities of a world without vaccines. This simple cut could become so much worse. Observational Eye activates with blue-tinged precision, scanning the farmer's injury. 2 days old, scratched by hide. Infection risk if bandages aren't changed regularly. The status report confirms it's not tetanus, bringing visible relief. The woman's playful question about severity lightens the mood. Thunk! The basket settles as treatment begins. Knowledge replaces fear.
The semi-solid potion gleams red in its container as Sungin explains proper application. After meals, with clean bandages. But clean bandages are expensive luxuries for commoners. The worried boy seeks clarification while Sungin's mind works ahead. No bandages? No problem. Sometimes the best solutions come from resourcefulness, not wealth. Wish, necessity breeds innovation. Magical fabric making creates fresh bandages from thin air. The grateful young woman clasps her hands in prayer, invoking Lord Eiber's grace upon the generous healer. Sungin acknowledges his own gains with characteristic humor. Meanwhile, tavern patrons witness his growing reputation with surprise. Gulp! Even the locals are starting to take notice. Word spreads quickly in small villages. The desperate woman pleads for free healing while others rush forward with injuries. Sungin works with focused efficiency, earning glowing notifications and heartfelt thanks from each patient. The healing points accumulate as gratitude fills the air. Sometimes the greatest payment comes not in gold, but in genuine appreciation. His reputation grows with each successful treatment. 172 points. Sungin's excitement is infectious as the digital display shows his progress. Hunting monsters has its merits, but nothing beats the peaceful satisfaction of village healing. The cartoonish monster and tiny character add levity to his musings about future clients. Thud! Reality crashes back as something unexpected arrives. His hope for simple clients may be premature. The blonde aristocrat's disdain drips from every word as he critiques the shack of a shop. His stylish light blue coat contrasts sharply with the cluttered surroundings. Sungin maintains his composure, asking what potion the visitor requires. Anything you made, comes the condescending reply. The hooded observer notes the aristocratic bearing. This won't be simple. Lihaart Aierlev introduces himself with noble flourish, third son of House Aierlev, a name that carries significant weight. The guard comments on Sungin's fortunate encounter while the healer recognizes the family's influence in the region. But why would such prestigious nobility visit a humble healer's stall? The soldier's questions echo everyone's confusion. Power rarely descends to meet poverty. Lord Aierlev has a formal request, delivered through his snobbish son. Sungin questions why such a prestigious family would approach him directly. The servant apologizes for the Lord's orders while tension builds over the mysterious package. When Lihaart angrily berates the healer's ignorance, the room's atmosphere shifts. Nobility's patience has limits, and they've been exceeded. Medicinal herbs for Teheth, the contaminated zone where beauty became corruption. Once a place of incredible scenery, now rotting with poisonous pollutants. Lord Aierlev fights monsters to contain the spread, risking exposure himself. The hooded healer explains the gravity, while the lab-coated figure grasps the contamination's true scope. Some battles require more than swords. The current supplier's distance creates logistical nightmares, explaining Lihaart's personal visit. Semi-solid potions work better against contamination than liquid alternatives. The shadowy figure notes the young master's importance, while Lihaart explains potential rewards. A proper shop if his father approves the potions. Business opportunity masquerades as noble request. Some offers carry hidden chains. A favor that can never be repaid. Sungin's terms are deliberately impossible. Lihaart's sarcastic honor masks growing frustration as the healer instructs him to make the potions himself. The flat refusal triggers explosive anger, zap crackling through the air. The older figure supports the distraught noble, while Sungin remains unmoved. Some agreements are designed to be rejected. Sungin firmly rejects the binding contract. He's not a pharmacist, and this work would trap him forever. The points display shows his current progress as he explains his need for different goals. When he suggests politeness for those seeking help, Lihaart's anger explodes. The rude jerk accusation flies between them. Sometimes the most honest answer is the most insulting. Lihaart's skeptical laughter dismisses any healing claims when suddenly, desperation crashes through the door. A gray-haired boy carries his bleeding brother, pleading frantically for help. The computerized status reveals severe bleeding from a farming tool cut. This isn't about money or politics anymore. Life hangs in the balance, and time is running out. The injured finger barely hangs on, blood vessels and nerves completely severed. Lihaart assesses the gruesome injury, while the gray-haired boy pleads for healing. The nobleman explains pharmacists treat diseases, not traumatic injuries like this. Germs from farming tools compound the danger. The question echoes with desperate hope. Can anyone actually heal this? Golden light emanates from Sungin's palm as he declares his necessity. Lihaart reacts with shock. What kind of power is this? When asked to reattach the finger, the nobleman questions why he should help a lowly commoner. Sungin's clenched fist sparks with magical energy. Wish! The tension builds toward a breaking point. Pride meets desperation in a moment of truth. Sungin declares he'll grant mercy to treat the commoner's wound, his sharp gaze calculating. The frail boy lies vulnerable while Lihaart grapples with disbelief. An aristocrat treating commoners? The nobleman decides to handle it himself, but Sungin recognizes the deeper game. This bastard truly needs his potions. Pride and necessity are about to collide catastrophically. Stitching back manually, Sungin's confidence clashes with Lihaart's sarcasm about treating dolls. The nobleman's frustration boils over as he bets his necklace of fortune on failure. Sungin accepts the wager with mischievous intent. If he succeeds, free healing for commoners and the necklace belong to him. The accusation of being a quack stings, but actions speak louder than words. The terms are set. Failure means contamination duty and abandoning the healer title. Sungin acknowledges with calm certainty. Stitching requires special materials, but ordinary thread won't suffice for this surgery. Mana potion and thread extraction create the perfect tool. The frustrated observer grows impatient as the pharmacist wastes time. Then someone gasps. What revelation approaches in this moment of surgical precision? What makes a true healer? Sungin declares his life philosophy with blazing conviction. Rule number 5 burns bright as his arsenal awakens. Suture, stanch, observational eye. Each skill gleams with deadly precision. Never procrastinate when lives hang in the balance. This moment, everything he's learned as a quack healer crystallizes into pure determination. The impossible surgery begins. Sungin guides ethereal energy around the boy's severed finger, each movement calculated and precise. The rare time element weighs heavy. One mistake and permanent damage follows. His focus ring amplifies his concentration to superhuman levels. The boy watches in terror and hope as nerves reconnect under surgical mastery. Sweat beads on Sungin's brow. Just a bit more. His stamina meter plunges toward empty as Lihaart watches with clenched anxiety. One final snap of precision. The device springs to life. Relief floods the room as they realize how close they came to catastrophic failure. Victory snatched from the jaws of disaster.
Time to finish this miraculous work. Sungin replenishes his energy before unleashing fully recovered. Golden light cascades from his hands like divine intervention. Lihaart's skepticism burns as he watches the impossible unfold. The healer's confidence radiates as he commands them to witness the resurrection of dead flesh. Disbelief wars with undeniable reality.
Consciousness returns to the silver-haired boy like dawn breaking through darkness. His confused groans pierce the silence as Sungin tests his responses. Close and open your left hand. The movement flows perfectly. Nerves, tendons, blood vessels all restored. Lihaart stares in impossible disbelief while the boy struggles to comprehend his miraculous recovery.
Now comes the reckoning. Sungin's smirk cuts deep as he reminds Lihaart of their wager. The great lord of House Aierlev wouldn't break his word, would he? Lihaart's fury explodes as he hurls surgical instruments in rage. Yet honor binds him tighter than chains. The grateful boy's thanks echo as aristocratic pride crumbles before surgical triumph. Victory tastes sweet as Sungin commands the spread of news. Free healing and food in the square, courtesy of a humbled noble. At the bits fall in, urgent footsteps thunder across wooden floors. Julie bursts in with breathless news, her urgency palpable as she leans forward. What revelation has shaken the entire district? The news explodes across the city. House Aierlev's young master has opened a free clinic. Crowds surge toward the square for healing and sustenance. Sungin accepts this turn with grace, content that more people receive treatment. He offers Julie fresh potatoes with tired kindness, even as mysterious point deductions flash across reality's hidden interface. Digital roulette spins wildly. HP increases, stamina boosts, health potions cascade through virtual space. But disappointment strikes as Sungin surveys the mediocre results. A total bust. Yet hope glimmers in an inventory expansion ticket. One tap later, new possibilities unlock. Even failure plants seeds for future victories. The yellow crystal gleams in Sungin's palm, stamina equipment material of significant value. Kim's eyes light up with recognition before producing a crystal enhancement ticket from thin air. Generous to a fault, he offers it freely despite its monetary worth. Confusion meets gratitude as unexpected kindness flows between strangers turned allies. The focus ring's weight reminds Sungin of its temporary purpose. Kim suggests a recommendation for selling, leading them toward a bustling weapons shop. The bearded shopkeeper greets them warmly among displays of gleaming steel and magical artifacts. Kim's recommendation proves solid. This establishment radiates competence and fair dealing. The necklace of fortune catches light like trapped starfire, its cracked crystal telling stories of battles survived. 3 million gold. The shopkeeper's offer cuts through market noise. But silver-haired fury erupts as accusations of betrayal poison the air. Lihaart's calm response masks deeper calculations while rare rings emerge to complicate the transaction further. Weapons hunting takes an urgent turn as crossbows gleam under spotlight attention. The tan-skinned customer reaches toward specifications with growing interest. Snap! Something triggers with violent precision. Blue light explodes around the silver-haired observer as technological magic responds to unknown stimuli. What force just awakened in this mundane weapon shop? Sungin stares at the mysterious phenomenon with growing alarm. Blue emergency messages flood his vision with desperate urgency. Get your hands on that. No matter what, countless previous communications suddenly make terrible sense. The crossbow gleams with otherworldly significance. Whatever entity has been guiding him, it wants this weapon desperately. Paranoia creeps through Sungin's consciousness like ice water. The health potions felt different, aware, watching, calculating. Every message carries weight of unseen observation. His flinch draws the shopkeeper's concerned attention, forcing him to mask growing dread behind polite distraction. Something in human puppets, these coincidences. Friar's crossbow emerges from legend into reality, a relic of incredible rarity and devastating capability. The shopkeeper demonstrates with childlike enthusiasm as items transform into arrows through magical alchemy. 5 shots in rapid succession. Sungin watches with growing fascination as the weapon's true potential unfolds before him, like destiny made manifest. 15 million gold. The number hits like a physical blow to Sungin's financial hopes. Negotiation drops it to 14 million, but even selling his focus ring for 6.6 million leaves him devastatingly short. Emergency funds barely scratch the surface. Desperation breeds creative thinking as he reaches for impossible solutions. Recognition dawns as the shopkeeper offers unexpected grace, holding the crossbow until funds materialize. His confidence in Sungin's eventual success speaks volumes about today's demonstrated competence. Gratitude flows between them as mutual respect bridges the gap between desire and reality. Kim's recommendation proves golden once again.
The Adventurers Guild bustles with afternoon energy as Sungin finalizes his equipment purchases. A basic accessory accompanies his brooch selection while eager companions crowd around mission postings. Sunlight streams through ornate windows as anticipation builds. Adventure calls from beyond these hallowed walls. Reality crashes down as Sungin confronts his companion's financial state, even poorer than imagined. The bulletin board beckons with potential salvation while hope flickers dangerously low. Yet optimism persists as thoughts turn toward home. An ethereal presence watches from beyond, sparking questions about divine intervention or cosmic manipulation. Frustration boils over as transactions sour and appreciation withers. The Guild's Healer section draws Sungin's attention until Blonde Authority intervenes with bureaucratic precision. Badge requirements slam against urgent need as official protocols strangle heroic intentions. Rules designed to help become barriers to salvation. Sungin browses mission postings with careful attention while curious observers question his intentions. Most requests remain active, blocking his access until legitimate opportunity emerges from the paperwork maze. Hope sparks as viable options surface. The promise of helping someone drives him forward through administrative obstacles. Divine blessings echo through sacred halls as a priest-healer offers traditional comfort. But crisis shatters ceremony when desperate pleas pierce the air. Rena lies critically wounded. Sungin's observational eye activates with digital precision, revealing brutal bite wounds and dangerous bleeding. Medical emergency overrides religious protocol. Sacred healing begins as the elderly priest commands peace through divine intervention. But Sungin breaks protocol with shocking audacity, grabbing the holy man's arm mid-ritual. His interruption cuts through ceremony like a blade. Traditional healing will fail against this wound. Tension explodes as medical expertise challenges religious authority. Chaos erupts as Sungin desperately explains the medical reality. The priest's companion breathes in ragged gasps while accusations of nonsense fuel mounting rage. Violence explodes as the blonde guardian physically ejects the unwelcome healer. The door slams with finality, sealing fate inside, while expertise remains locked outside. Sungin's bitter smile cuts through the aftermath like prophecy fulfilled. No one ever listens to the warnings of a quack healer until it's too late. Inside, desperate reassurances flow as traditional healing attempts begin. But his final words echo with dark certainty. The priest's healing won't save her. Death approaches while pride blocks the door to salvation.